Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome to our weekly 30-minute webinar. My name is Dre Devotz. I'm a systems engineer here at Verify and I'll be your host for today's session. Today we're going to show you how to create those unique security profiles for your end users. And here to present to you today is my good friend Jon Deline. How you doing, Jon?
I'm doing really well today. Thanks for asking, Dre.
Great to have you on. Also, everybody, don't forget all of our webinars are recorded and posted within 24 hours. Just head over to verify.com/webinars and find all of our latest webinars. First, we're going to start with a quick overview of our company and what we do. Then we're going to jump into a live demo where Jon is going to guide us through how to create those unique security profiles for your end users. We're going to leave some time for Q&A, so during the demo, if you have any questions, make sure to enter them by accessing the Q&A option. After Q&A, we will award one lucky attendee a $50 Amazon gift card, so hang around to see if you've won. Just a quick overview of Verify and what we do. Verify is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco collaboration, deployable either on-prem or as a hosted cloud solution. We provide industry-leading CDR reporting and call analytics, as well as customizable dashboards and widgets, UCCX reporting, remote phone control, change management, Cisco Cube CDR, and our latest additions, Zoom and WebEx call reporting. If you have any questions about our features, please contact us at support@verify.com or reach out to your account manager. Also, one more thing before we kick this off. Verify offers an enhanced consulting service to our customers. Verify's SE team engages with you on a one-to-one basis to remotely provide additional consulting, report building, dashboard configuration, and system monitoring assistance. This is a service that provides you a dedicated Verify SE to do the heavy lifting, giving you a stress-free, hands-off experience. For more information, please contact us or your account manager, and we'd be glad to speak to you more in depth about our pricing and terms for service for our enhanced consulting services. All right, I'm going to hand things over to Jon now. Please remember to submit any questions in the Q&A panel, and we'll address them after the presentation.
All right. Welcome, everyone. And as Dre indicated, today we're going to be creating unique security profiles using public search sets to customize and tailor the visibility of data and reports and dashboards. So today we're going to be using a real life kind of scenario where we have a department manager, Martha Springer, who is the head of the Corolla sales division, and her counterpart in the duct sales division has left, and she's on an interim basis. She's going to be taking care of that department too, and so she needs to get access to their data. So currently I'm logged in here as Martha, and so currently if we would just take a quick look at what she has access to, I'm just going to look at her total calls available to her for the prior 7 days. So when I do this, I can see that she has access to Corolla sales. I can see that she has access to her own calls as a manager. So let's go take a look at how that is set up from an administrator standpoint. So I'm going to go into the user groups, from settings into user accounts and groups. And we're going to take a quick look at Martha. So here's her user, and currently she has assigned to her dashboards, call analytics, with a bunch of call analytics functions, and then a restricted visibility settings. Give her her own calls, manager, and her own department. We're going to be leveraging public search sets today, but we're not going to be doing it at the user level. We're actually going to be doing it at the group level. She also has access to schedule and can see all shared reports. Now, Martha doesn't want to do it all herself, so she's enlisted one of the other management level people, Glenn Phillips, to help her too. And so she's requesting of the administrator that Glenn, who currently, let's see what he's got. Yeah, he only has access to his own call history. So she wants them both to have the same access so that he can assist her. So that's what we're going to do today is we're going to set up custom public search sets that will allow us to do that. So I'm going to start where we often like to start with anything that we're doing in reporting, and that's in the call history search. I'm going to be leveraging this because there is a real recent feature where we can save search sets as public right through reporting. So for purposes of this, let's see, we've got her Corolla sales, and then we're going to add the duck sales there. So we're having this as the originating and terminating CUCM department so that she'll be able to see both the calls that come to and from both of those departments. So we're just going to take a quick look at what that'll look like for the prior, let's say 7 days. As the verified administrator, I want to kind of see what they're going to be getting, before I just tell them everything's okay. So just with that lookup now, I have access to everything, but with that search set, those criteria, I can see the Corolla sales and I can see the duck sales. And on each of these calls, it's got one or the other. So I think I'm pretty good here. So I'm going to go ahead and export these results to get into the reporting. From here, all I'm going to do though, is I'm going to go to the search set and I'm going to give it a name and we're going to call it duck and Corolla sales. And then all I need to do is click on this save as public search set. This feature is new. It's probably my very favorite thing that we've added in the last few months. I'm going to click there and I now have that saved. So where did that go? I'm going to cancel out of here. It went to where you're probably used to looking for public search set information if you've used it before. It's right here within the call analytics under the configure section, public search sets. So there's our duck and Corolla sales. Now, as I'm thinking about this, we might want to split this up because the idea is that there'll be a new head of the duck sales department before too long. So I'm going to take advantage of our copy option here. I'm going to make a copy and we're going to call this one Corolla sales. And we're going to get rid of duck there. I'm going to save that. And then this one is going to become duck sales. All right, so now I've created two public search sets. And so now the next thing I need to do is get both Martha and Glenn access to this information. So I'm going to go back into as administrator, into the setup, into the user accounts and groups. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to be assigning this at the user level. We're going to go ahead and create a couple groups. So now that I'm in here, I'm just going to go create a group, and just for brevity, we'll just say duck sales. And here's Glenn, and here's Martha. I'm going to go ahead and add them, assign their users to the group. And so now I'm setting up this group. Want them both to have access to dashboards. We're going to be assigning here to the Mexico City cluster. We'll grant them the call analytics. We're going to go ahead and select restricted visibility, widgets, reporting, call history search. And then down here, we're going to give Corolla sales and duck sales. So now what we're doing is effectively taking those search criteria that we used in history that we spun into a public search set, now creating a user group and assigning them to it. We're going to allow them to schedule reports and to access all the shared reports. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm just going to go up and review real quick, make sure I didn't forget anything. There, so now I've saved that. So now if I go back to the users and I look at Martha Springer, everything she had in there before now is masked because now she's a member of duck sales. So So that part's good. We're going to go back and create the second one now for Corolla sales. Going to follow the same thing again. Add the two users, grant them dashboard privileges, add the platform, call analytics, restricted visibility, access to quite a bit there. And then we'll do Corolla sales, schedule, and save it. So now we'll go back to users. We'll check Glenn this time, and there they are. So his other restricted things now have been overridden by assigning him to this group. So we're doing pretty good now, but we do have another step within the user settings here. We've just assigned the public search set and the reporting side, but we haven't gone out and assigned a dashboard to them. So now that they have the rights to see information, as administrator here, I've created just kind of a generic department dashboard. Most of these are built on total calls. So this is not filtering really anything. So we're seeing lots of department stats, call totals, once they pop up, concurrency information. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to the share option here. And this one was previously shared with Martha Springer. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And we're going to add Corolla sales and duck sales. There we have it. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now I'm going to switch back over to Martha here. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to refresh her access here. I'm going ahead and clicking on that verify logo. That's my favorite way of refreshing the screens that I have. Just gives me a nice fresh load. So now here's Martha's screen. And we know from the way that I did the settings that Glenn would be seeing, for the most part, the same thing. So now we have the same dashboard, where as administrator, I saw everything. Now here we see the restrictions for the users, those custom limitations that I assigned through the public search set, now assigned and carrying forward into the dashboard here. So here we have department stats. We see our Corolla stats. We see our duck sales stats. And you might be wondering right away, well, why are we seeing sales and owners, services, and so on? Well, the way that the public search set was set up as originating or terminating department, there are times when someone from sales calls either duck sales or Corolla sales and vice versa. So they can be party to a call as being a member of the originating or terminating department on a call with one of these other entities. There are ways to filter that out, but I kind of like it this way, to be able to see kind of that intra or inter-department traffic. So we see the calls for the current day, current week, and so on. Now, if we go back over to our history search, I'm going to go ahead and grab total calls here. And if you're noticing that I have a default search criteria here of call scenario types, that's another very recent feature that is probably my second favorite next to the public search sets right from the reports, where you can now customize which call scenario or which criteria you want just by whichever user you're logging in as. You can go change that. So that's a super awesome new feature, and I leverage it all the time. So now we're in here as Martha. I'm going to view results. We're going to go back to the previous 7 days. And let's see how things have changed since the beginning. So now when I do this quick history search for Martha, I am seeing Corolla sales. I am seeing duck sales all through here. And I'm not seeing any calls that don't have one or the other. So I can be confident here now that that public search set that we created is carrying forward into the reporting. We saw that it was carrying forward into the dashboard because those numbers changed dramatically between Martha being logged in and and the administrator. So I'm going to jump into the report option here, and Martha had a saved report. And this one was based off the regular organizational summary by end user that she just modified previously. So we're going to take a look at this, and yeah, it's just total calls. So that's we're just going to take advantage of all the groupings and configuration of this report, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to run it. I'm going to change my search time window to the prior 7 days, and we don't want to see everything 24 hours a day. People aren't there, so we're just going to do 7 to 6, and we'll run that. All right, so here's the after. I think this should be the after, where it's alphabetical by department. So that might be one thing that we'll want to adjust. But here's all the duck sales calls. And do we have any of the, and there's Corolla sales. So just by making one change to this report, we've got all those. Again, if things like these inter-department calls need to be filtered out, that's something that is possible. Maybe we'll do a future webinar on that. And I'm just going to check this here. 401, I think I ran a before report, 307. So before we made the change to add duck sales to her responsibilities and her availability here in the reports, we had 307 and we jumped up to 401 after. So what I've demonstrated here is how to do that with the departmental information. And the departmental information, for those of you who may not know where we picked that up from, within the call manager administration, under the user management and the end user data, I've picked two here where we have one who is Active Directory synced and another that isn't. So if we jump into Kelly Larson, you can see that for her end user record, her department is manually populated. So in the event that there isn't a sync going on, those users would be, those lookups would be based on manually maintained information. Kyle, on the other hand, is part of a Active Directory sync. His information is fixed. And so we would only get that if it was part of the sync with Active Directory. So there are a lot of other things that you can do with the public search set. I used the department as a means of demonstrating, but there's definitely a lot more that you can do. A couple examples. Going to jump into the analytics here, back into configure. And these are real life examples. I don't have the best data here in the lab to really represent it, but we have customers that have built their public search sets, their accessibility for users based on partitions. In some cases, the partitions can be set up as based on physical sites, and they may assign someone to only see data, have access to call analytics and dashboards for a particular partition or site. Another one that I've seen is device pools, and they are kind of used very similarly to the partitions, where you can have originating, terminating device pools and assign access criteria based on that. And as you saw when I was setting up the user groups, I did do two, and I assigned both of those to a user, and all of that configuration carried forward into the available data. So this is a real powerful tool for you to use when you're wanting to limit or customize and work with the availability of data within the application to leverage these public search sets. And hopefully here in the last 15 minutes or so, I've demonstrated to you an effective way of getting started with that. We have time for questions, Dre. Is there any that have come in?
Yeah, we've got one question here, John. It's can users in verified that are connected via Active Directory, are they able to be assigned those search sets, your the public search sets as well?
Right, they're not at this time. I don't know if that is something that we'll be looking at in the future, but right now we are using the Cisco Call Manager data as our as our source of truth. I don't know, Dre, if you know anything more or different than that, but right now, the way that they access the system, that user would be, you could assign the privileges if that was also the user that was in the call manager.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I know of anything as of yet for that in the future, but something we'll jot down there.
Yeah, I'd be happy to look at it with you. If you open up a support ticket, we could maybe get a little bit more into it and see what we find.
Very good. We'll give it another couple seconds here. That was the only question we had. Fantastic job on the presentation, though. It was really nice, informative.
Thank you.
Let's see. Jeremy said if CUCM is syncing the department data, then it will work.
Right.
Correct.
If there's a sync going on and that department information is coming from Active Directory and is populating those fields that we were looking at over here, like in Kyle's, like this record, this particular sync isn't bringing forward departmental information. So we wouldn't be able to in that instance. But as long as that lookup, that field, whether it's a synced user or a manually maintained user, if that department field is populated, then we'll have that along with any of the other fields that are available here to be used as criteria. So I didn't mention manager ID, but that is an excellent one to use. That was previously with Martha's privileges. She was able to view as manager, and she was one. So that's another one. But really, just about anything, I shouldn't say really everything that you can set up in a criteria can then be carried forward into a public search set that can then be assigned to a user or group. So it's almost unlimited.
I had another question here. What version was public search sets applied to user views? I believe that's been around for a minute, right?
Yeah, the actual stuff that I demonstrated within the user groups has been around for a while. It goes back. There's actually some information in past webinars that were maybe covering some other material too, but I was able to mine some as I was reviewing to create this. But that from the reporting, that ability to spin a public search set directly from the report configuration, I believe that was 15.2 from September of last year.
Okay. A lot of good jobs and thank yous in the Q&A there. So awesome.
Well, you're welcome. And thanks for attending.
All right, if that's all the questions we have, it looks like. I'll give everybody just a couple seconds here if they had another question. Good questions out there. All right. I'm going to grab back sharing from you. Once again, thank you everybody for attending this week's workshop. Don't forget, next week, we got Matt and Victor showing the love on February 14th, building out some executive style Zoom dashboards and reports. So make sure you guys check that out next week. Thank you guys so much again, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.